You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show, the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. I'm going to get some coffee, and we're going to kick it off with Nico from Idaho.
Yo, Ryan, this is Nico. How the heck is it going?
Good.
So just, it's, what is it, Monday, Tuesday?
No.
Bears won last night. That was kind of a bummer. They needed a gift. It's like, what? What the heck? But it is what it is,
What the heck?
So just listening to some stuff, kind of behind on some stuff. Listening to another podcaster guy who's got people that call in, and they're all really negative. And I know, and I heard you yesterday, talking about like, hey, can we just be happy we won? And I guess it's just, we always talk about symptoms of having a good franchise for 30 years. We just kind of expect a lot, and I get caught doing that sometimes because I was thinking we could play bad and win by 3 touchdowns and maybe give up one and in garbage time, but I think Reed and maybe Christian too, because it just seems when Reed's not there, there's like a missing piece in our offense.
Yeah. And
they make up for it. I think Golden stepped up big. I think he gained a little confidence yesterday. I think I don't know when Reed's coming back. I know Watson may be coming back this week. I wish he would, even if he just runs 15, 20 plays, just some go routes, maybe tries to get behind the defense one time. That'd be cool. Because really, no one separates like that guy. It's just amazing. But I don't know if you have any updates on Reed. I think he is maybe almost more important, or at least as important as Christian. I think when they come back, that's going to really help. But I don't know. I just can't help the Pack fans for being a little not super stoked that we didn't blow the crowd, blow the doors off the Bengals. But I'm just glad I'm obviously glad we won. But anyways, hey, cheer up, guys. Look at the other teams that are losing. The Bills lost, freaking Ravens. I know they don't have their QB, but losses come and go, and I know there's teams, even the Lions lost, it did take no flags thrown for the Chiefs, but hey, whatever. I still don't understand how that touchdown catch to their goofy quarterback didn't count, for the Lions. But, can you guys just not be a trick play team? It's so gay and boring. Can I say gay? Can I say retarded? I don't know. I don't know anymore. But it's just so dumb. It's always the trick team. I believe exactly what Jacob said. If you can't win straight up, you're just one of those teams. Anyways,
wait.
Go Pecco.
Did that work? Yeah, it did. Okay. It's so quiet, and then couldn't really see it pop up on the old. What do you even call this stuff? I don't know. I should know. When you're recording like the sound waves, the visual of it. I don't know what that is. Can you say that? Well, you just did. So, yeah, man, I'm excited, but I'm almost getting tired of saying the same thing over and over again. Like, oh man, it's gonna be so good when we get to, because it's like they're gonna get hurt again. It's just we never, ever, ever, ever can just have our crew out there doing what they're supposed to do. And I need to scroll past this because there's a picture of wings there, and I don't need to be staring at that. Looks delicious. And also, it's, I think you're probably right, but I think there's also a little bit of, the last time he was here, he was the guy. And he started that way last year, too, where he was like the guy, and then it became not so much the guy. So I wish these guys could play longer so I could formulate some opinions, like genuine opinions. Like if we had Reed just all the time, with Watson all the time, and, Dobbs usually here, but now with Golden, like if we could just have the crew healthy, stop frickin' getting hurt all the time. Stop it. Why are you doing that? It would be nice. It would be nice to be able to see things. And I want to be like, well, injuries happen. It's like, has Tucker Kraft missed a game? Has Josh Jacobs missed a game? I'm not actually blaming them. I'm annoyed at the situation. It's very unfortunate. But yes, Reed is awesome, and I'm sure Matt LaFleur can do some cool stuff when he's on the field that we can't do when he's not. Such is life, I guess. But I'm excited to get him back. As far as the timeline, I think it's going to be a little bit. I think next step is get Watson back and hope we don't lose anybody in the process. We're on the verge of losing Wicks. Hopefully Musgrave can make it another week because his time's kind of running out in terms of how many weeks he's allowed to play in a season before he has to be done for the season. Anyways, I'm done complaining.
Hey Ryan, it's Aaron from Eau Claire. I don't know if this will get played by the time the next game starts, but just wanted to kind of pose a question that has to do with like the different issues that our team has. You know, people like finding all the reasons to be pessimistic as opposed to optimistic. You know, so the question I want to pose is, given the complaints that people have about our team, which team would you rather be a fan of? In other words, like, which team do you feel has the ideal situation? If you're frustrated with where the Packers are at, which team would you trade places with because they have fixed all the problems that we have, or they don't have any of the problems that we have, or they're a much more complete team? I guess you could say the Chiefs or the Eagles just because they have more recent Super Bowl wins. And then, you know, maybe that's the thing is, despite their issues that they have, they've gotten to the finish line and brought home a championship. I think, you know, if we were to win a Super Bowl, I think, you know, in the coming years after that, we might be a little more apt to forgive some of the problems they have, I guess. Maybe a lot of the negativity comes from this anxiety that maybe we'll never win a Super Bowl, or maybe we won't, you know, see that happen in the next, when Jordan Love's our quarterback or when Matt LaFleur is our quarterback. But the only thing I can really see is maybe the style of play that a team has. So, like, you know, if you would rather trade places with the Lions right now because they have such an aggressive play style, I guess I can understand that. You know, if you would rather have Dan Campbell's style of coaching rather than Matt LaFleur's because you feel like, you know, he's got a more aggressive and, you know, go, like, step on the throat kind of mentality. But even that being said, all of the teams that are also kind of in the Super Bowl conversation, they all have their own issues. They've all lost to teams recently that they probably shouldn't have. So, anyways, just want to know your thoughts on that.
Well, it is a good question. I mean, just on its face, you could say, which, you know, to the negative fans, you know, give me a list. And at the very least, it's not going to be a long list. But if you add to that, you have to switch places and there's no coming back. Or, you know, it's a long-term investment. In other words, you can say the Colts if you want, but are you telling me you want to be a long-term Colts fan? That Daniel Jones is your guy? That's who's that you're going to get behind? And their wide receiver one is who again? And they're god-awful corners and no linebackers? Like, you're giving up Edgerrin for what, Zaire Franklin? I mean, just about everything about this team is worse. I think it would be a good exercise because people don't realize what they'd be giving up. I mean, Baltimore, What, because of Lamar? Okay. Who's their number one wide receiver? Because, Packer fans have been screaming about number one wide receivers. 33-year-old DeAndre Hopkins? That's your long-term investment? You're going to go root for them? They don't have a very good offensive line. Their tight end is having a pretty rough year as he hits 30 years old in Mark Andrews. They don't have pass rushers. They don't have good corners. Detroit, like you said, makes sense, but if you want to go Detroit, you can. You have a quarterback that's, let's just say he's around the same level as Love. Right now he's ranked 15th on PFF, but he's an adequate quarterback. He's always been solid. I don't think very good is out of the question from year to year. You do have Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's a solid number one receiver. You've got a good running back duo when you look at them as a combined duo. Laporta's a solid tight end. The offensive line has taken quite a big step back from what it used to be, but you still got Penei Sewell. You've got Aiden Hutchinson, who's your one pass rusher, although you have absolutely nothing else. We'll see what happens when these defensive linemen like Alim McNeil come back, but there is nothing else. There are no other pass rushers, so that's your one guy. The corners are not good. So you're again, if you want to give up your Packers fandom, just for the sake of exercise here, to go abandon this team for the Lions, it's kind of silly because the little bit of forward momentum, you could say, well, St. Brown's better than Golden or any of our receivers, and Penei Sewell's better than any of our offensive linemen, and I think Goff is better than Love, and I think their running backs are better than our running backs, and I think Hutchinson is better than Michael. You can say all that, but every single one of those, first of all, is marginal, and you still have problems, right? What happened when we had Devontae? Everybody screamed that there were no other wide receivers. Who's their other wide receivers? They got Williams, Jamison Williams, right? He ranks 67th among wide receivers, so I guess there's that. There's the Tesla guy that everybody's super excited about because he had some phenomenal catches, although nobody's really checked in a while if you still think that that's a thing, because he's doing nothing. They don't have corners, so all the complaining about corners, they don't have it. The worry about the interior defensive line, they don't have it. Pass rush with just one guy, good luck. You're going to have lots of complaints, just like you have here. You don't believe me? Go listen to Lions fans complain about all of this stuff. I already played you a Lions fan calling in complaining about Williams, the wide receiver. Injuries, man, Packer fans get mad about injuries. The Lions have been getting screwed by injuries so hard the last 2 years. It's hitting them again this year. Tampa Bay? I like Baker. I think he's a fun quarterback. I think he'd be a really fun guy to root for. He's only 30, so he could give you some more years. He could be around for a while. I don't hate that. The bigger issue is, again, you're looking for that wide receiver one. You got a 32-year-old Mike Evans who's he's currently ranked 63rd. Last year he had a 90 grade. He's always in the 80s or 90s. He had a patch where he was kind of in the 70s. He has completely fallen off prior to getting injured. So you got how old again? 32-year-old who's battling injuries and is off to a bit of a rough start. And then what do you have? Do you even know their other wide receivers? 32-and-a-half-year-old Sterling Shepard and rookie 7th-round pick Tez Johnson. Offensive line, the grades, Tristan Wirf 77, so he's solid. Otherwise, 49, 56, 52, and 42. Appalling. Pass rushers. Who's their pass rushers? Do you know? Can you name any? They're all bad. They got Jamel Dean. That dude is a freak corner. Very, very good. So if you want better corners, you can go to Tampa. They got no linebackers. So, again, you can say, are there any teams you'd rather go to or rather be a fan of right now or would switch places with or whatever? I'm not saying that the answer is no, that by far the Packers have the best situation now and for the future, but it's certainly debatable. Jordan Love is legit. Josh Jacobs is the second best running back in football right now. Matthew Golden has a lot of potential, not to mention Reed and Watson and Dobbs and whatever else. Micah Parsons is the number one pass rusher in football right now, on top of Gary and Van Ness. I know we've got some guys that are injured right now, but they're on the team. Wyatt is breaking out, and he will be back, and I'm feeling pretty good about him. Our corners right now are graded as 71 and 65. That's very adequate. Not to mention, we have safeties that are doing very well. We have linebackers. I mean, who is graded out poorly on this team? Banks at left guard, that frickin' guy. Morgan at right guard. And Carl Brooks at defensive tackle. Those are the only guys with below average grades on this team. I mean, below average, as in below a 60. I'm not talking about, like appallingly bad, just below average. Everybody else is at least above average, including guys like Wooden and Walker and Hobbs and Rashid and Elton Jenkins and the rest of our, offensive line, defensive. It's not just because it's the Packers. I mean, if you could just switch situations, I don't know that I would switch. Lions are compelling. Tampa, you can maybe make a case, but you start looking at some of the uphill climbing you'd have to do, things that the Packers have already accomplished that you'd have to give up. You want to give up Micah Parsons, Jordan Love, Zach Tom, Matthew Golden, Xavier McKinney, and Williams, who's playing out of his mind right now, Edge, Cooper. I don't know, dude. I'm content. I'm feeling good. I think I'm going to hang out. Take a break. Come back. We got some Uncle Rico.
Yo, Ryan, it's your Uncle Rico.
What's up, man?
Hey,
No.
there was that period of time
Not
when the Patriots were
Good?
like dominant,
Mm-hmm.
Super Bowl all the time, like 6 Super Bowls. But during that time when they won those 6 Super Bowls, those seasons they won 6 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Super Bowl champions. Everybody's like thinking like the Patriots are awesome. Well, they lost 20 games. They won 6 Super Bowls, but that's not cool because they lost 20 games. So,
Right. No, that's a good point. It's a great point.
Good. They sucked, and in some of those games they lost by like more than 10 points. I think.
No, that's a great point.
I'm not a statistician, but they shouldn't have lost those games, so they're no good. They missed some tackles, I think, in those games, and they missed some field goals, and they threw some interceptions, and they got sacked for some sacks. In that one guy, he got that penalty, and there's some stuff like that. So the 6 Super Bowls don't really matter. They don't really count because they had losses and sacks and penalties. Oh, and they dropped some balls too. So the 6 Super Bowls, that's nothing because they dropped balls and they had sacks and penalties when they were expected to win some of those games and they didn't win them. So matter of fact, they probably were expected to win all the games. I'm not sure, but either way, they lost those games. So the fact that they won the 6 Super Bowls, it doesn't really matter. Break go out.
No, it's a great point. I appreciate you bringing that up. I didn't realize how trash they were, and the more you know.
Hey, Ryan, it's Garrett from Southern Illinois.
What's up?
I think I have figured it out. I think I have solved the equation. Let me just start out by just giving you this analogy of why Packer fans, and I'm guilty of it myself, you've said you've used it too, of not being happy with how they've been playing, even though they've been playing really good at times. But yet, even after a victory against the Bengals, people are finding reasons to be unhappy. I think it goes like this. You are a single person, and you find this person turns out to be a SI illustrated swimsuit model.
Okay, thought we were going in a different direction.
You get married.
Okay.
And the very first 2 weeks
So far, so good.
that you're married, she walks around in a bikini all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you're just super happy.
Yes,
I
I can see that.
You're on cloud 9.
Understandable.
And then after the second week, you come
She
home
dies.
and all of a sudden she's sitting on the couch wearing sweatpants,
Oh,
no makeup, her hair's
Right.
not done, and she's eating bonbons on the sofa, watching soap operas. I'm like,
yeah, I hate her.
what the heck? What happened? And she's still sweet.
Oh yeah,
Cook
no,
for you
no. Then she's
gives
great.
you kisses after work and when you get home,
Oh,
and
that's good.
all the good stuff. But she's not dressing up like she used to.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that Packers would kind of look at them the same way. But what I'm trying to remind myself, and I'm telling the story to remind myself, above all else, that even though she's wearing sweatpants
Yeah.
and not doing her makeup,
Mm-hmm.
not fixing up her hair, maybe she hasn't even brushed her teeth,
That's a problem.
she's still a swimsuit model.
Mm-hmm.
She's still very hot.
Okay.
And even though she doesn't look it,
Sure.
she definitely is underneath. So let's just wait for, the surprise of coming home again to finding that she's wearing a bikini again.
Yep.
And it'll just make it that much better. So, just have to relish the fact that we have a team that is really, really good. It just doesn't look it sometimes.
Did you guys all get together today and say, what can we say to get this show just completely shut down? Like Spotify's just going to flag this. It's going to have like explicit and awful, terrible. Don't listen to this podcast. It's evil human beings. I feel like that's what happened today. You're conspiring against me. Conspiracy theory. There we go. Had to throw one of those in there. You're all conspiring against me. I got to think for a minute what we're even talking about there. I kind of got lost. I actually heard there was some other analogy going around social media about the Packers being like a hot girl with glasses on, and then you need to take the glasses off or something. I don't know, dude. I'm just getting out of here. Uncle Rico, what's up?
Yo, Ryan, it's your Uncle Rico.
What's up, mine?
Thursday morning, listen to the pod, calling into, not argue, but consider the Keyshawn Nixon is not a number one cornerback question, arguments, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we all know Keyshawn is not super elite. We all know he's not top 10. And I know there's the PFF grades that rank out the corners and all that. And I don't know about that. And I don't watch a lot of football, so I don't know about the other teams. But Keyshawn is our number one corner. Is there, on the other 31 teams, is there a corner that we would trade Keyshawn for, straight up? Like any one of the teams called, any single team called, said, hey, we want to trade our number one corner for Keyshawn Nixon. Would we take a deal? Is there a chance in 31 that there's a corner we would take over Keyshawn Nixon? Does every other team in the league have a better corner than Keyshawn Nixon? That's the question. And if they don't, then he's the number one corner. I mean, he's our number one corner. I guess this the whole number one wide receiver argument. Do we possess any number one wide receivers on our team? It's hard to tell because we don't delegate 75% of the throws to one guy that usually designates them as the number one receiver or whatever, So could one of our receivers displace or supplant a number one receiver on another team? And could Keyshawn Nixon, is he better than, or worse than every other starting corner in the league? All right, then. Rico out.
Well, I would just modify that to what I usually say, which is that you're a top 32 corner. The only reason being, if we go with the other way of looking at it, which is if he could be a number one on any other team, then he's a number one. We could hypothetically, let's just throw out a hypothetical here. Let's say there's 150 corners. One team has their starting corners as the 150th, 149th, and 147th corners. Keyshawn is like 113th. Technically, by your metric, he would be a number one because he could go to that team and be a number one. asking if he's a top 32 is not even close. He's not even a top 3. He's not even a number 1, number 2, or number 3 corner. Obviously not saying that's what he is. But, I mean, it's not, I wouldn't massively, where is he actually ranked? 24th. So by my own metric, if we're using PFF, he would be a number 1. Now, he's going to vacillate in and out of that. I think he was the one I said is probably going to end up falling because he had one, like, super elite game. But it's not really worth, we kind of know, I guess I shouldn't say we know what Keyshawn is. That's not necessarily true. Some people, I think, are a little too harsh. I think I would probably classify him normally as a number 2 corner, probably about what he is. Could you classify him as a low-end number 1? Yeah, I don't super care. Don't worry about that. Don't you worry your pretty little head about all that stuff. So, yeah. Bramble.
Mackie Bramble. Driving through the woods, so you're probably not going to hear any of this, but a couple
So far,
things
so
I
good.
wanted to touch on. You yelling at your Google or whatever. You're talking about Kyler Murray and Kobe Brissett and, like, rushing grades, and you're like, come on, stupid, say it. I thought you were waiting for me to say it, so I said Flacco for some reason. He's in my mind. Anyhow, injuries, being hurt and being injured used to be a different thing. You know, you play through being hurt.
Yeah.
You miss time when you're injured. I feel like players miss time when they're hurt now. Point 3, Watson. I got a feeling he's going to be active for the Steelers game because LaFleur wants to bring him on as like an offense tendency breaker.
He's going to bring him in for that Steelers game so the first pass can be a deep shot to Christian Watson along the sideline that Aaron Rodgers is on. And then we'll see if he catches it or drops it, and that'll determine who wins the game.
He won't be, there's no film of the last few days with Watson. There's the old stuff, but I think that's the plan, just to bring in some doubt for Tomlin. Who knows? Maybe Romeo goes nuts that game, and they're like, okay, we need to get him now. I'd rather not see Romeo go. I want to keep him. He is our clutch, third down, red zone receiver. We get rid of him. I'm just afraid of what our red zone's going to look like. Anyhow, Kyler. Yeah, he's fast. He runs well, but he doesn't scramble well. His pocket presence isn't great,
Right.
from what I remember. Love turns potential sacks into non-sacks. Kyler seems to rush around and kind of does a little bit of the Caleb thing where he runs himself into sacks at times. So I'd imagine that's why his rushing grid kind of sucks. Anywho, appreciate the content. I hate the AI stuff, so I don't listen to it. Anyhow, have a good one.
A lot of people hate the AI stuff. I obviously don't understand the hatred that people have for, like, just AI across the board. I'm guessing I don't know. It's different for different people, but there is some sense of inevitability to it. So I would say, as much as I apologize for annoying you, although obviously you can just stop listening at the end, it's one of those things, you know what I mean? You're just going to have to get used to it because more and more of the content you see, the pictures, the videos, the music, it's just how it's going to go. So I know for some people it is angry about the fact that human content is being taken away and jobs and being taken away and this sort of intrinsic beauty of people creating things as opposed to, it's called AI slop, which, you can put whatever label you want on it. I don't really care. It doesn't change anything. It's a beautiful image made. Well, that's slop. Okay, well, you can say that, and I can call it AI masterpiece. It doesn't really change what it is. But I'm just picturing people getting more and more angry about it because it's going to... That's where I even said, like, to some degree, I should probably back off just because it's going to reach a fever pitch where people are furious, and the last thing you're going to want to be is known as, like, the AI guy when people are ready to start flipping out on the AI takeover. Yeah, as far as Kyler goes, he is one of those. I mean, he's one of those guys that'll, he'll have a nice run. He's a fast guy. He can get away. He can do some stuff. He's also one of those guys that'll scramble around for 15 seconds and take a 22-yard sack because he's an idiot. It's same as like Caleb and Fields always did that and stuff. And people always get mad, like, how could they have a bad rushing grade? Have you seen them? And they're lightning fast and all these things. And it's like, yeah, have you seen them dance around and take a sack 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage? That also is a thing. So, alrighty, let's take a break. We'll come back with Nate.
Ryan, just a recommendation if you're hitting the gym today, like I am doing right now, put on Savion. The song Savion, doing deadlifts to that song right now is crazy.
Right?
Give it a shot. Go back go.
There's like 3 different Savion songs. I don't know which ones I uploaded. Maybe I only uploaded one. This right after the please stop talking about AI call. But I'm guessing it's the one where he screams Savion. I could see how that could get you jacked up. Again, not everyone appreciates it, but I love that some of you do. I am in awe. I've got the. I haven't listened to a song that I haven't created in a very long time, other than just like turning on the radio or something, or music that plays in the background of a video. But when I'm looking to listen to music, it's every single time it's the songs that I've created. It's might be like 50, it's not even 50-50. Of the ones I upload, it's 50-50 on whether it's like, that's a decent song and I'll upload it because it was on the show. And this is actually a freaking awesome song. So I'm just glad it's not just me. It's kind of getting to the point where it's like, there's too many of them. And I don't mean literally because that's not possible, but it's like, there's a song that I like a lot and I play it on repeat all the time. And then there's another one, and I kind of forget about that one. And then there's another one, and I go to that one, and I forget about this one, which is good because for a while it was like the same ones over and over again. I was kind of like the Savion songs, to be honest, getting a little tired of them. Bangers, but a little, like I heard it so many times. Now I'll play a song and like, oh yeah, I forgot about this song. It's a good song.
Ryan, how the heck are you? This is Deco from Idaho.
Howdy.
I was just working while I was watching Thursday Night Football, and I was kind of rooting for Rodgers, but I didn't really care. I mean, either they beat the Bengals and then keep them down, or the Bengals beat them. It didn't matter to me. I tell you what, Joe Flacco is probably the happiest dude on the planet to go from the frickin' Browns to a team with those 2 receivers. Sheesh, man. But anyways, so watch the game today, or listen to it mostly. I was busy. And I don't know if you know this, but Darnell Washington weighs 300 pounds. Yeah, he's a 300-pound tight end. I don't know if you know that. Also, I don't know if you know this, but Aaron Rodgers and Joe Flacco are both above 40 years old, right? I don't know if that made it to the podcast, or I'm sorry, to the on-air festivities, during Thursday Night Football. But just so you know, let's recap, because you probably haven't heard it yet. Darnell Washington is 300 pounds. And both Flacco and Rodgers are above the age of 40. So I just thought you'd like to know. Because, sometimes they miss important facts. And I'm pretty sure they missed those 2 facts. But anyways, hey, go Pack Go. Looking forward to this Sunday. And, I'm not going to stall for 2 minutes. I'm just going to say go Pack Go, even though it's only 1:42. I mean, now I want to say stuff. I don't know. Anyways, let me just focus. Let me find a focal point. Get my chi.
Yeah, that's fine. Here's part 2.
Hey Ryan, this is Nico here in Idaho. I didn't really have anything footballish to say, but I just want to let you know. I think there's somebody at your front door. You're welcome.
There's always somebody at my front door.
Hey Ryan, it's Craig from Indiana.
Hey.
Currently in Arizona
Nice.
For the Packer-Arizona game. So excited about that. It sounds like there's going to be quite a few Packer fans there. I even ran into a couple of people in the Indianapolis airport. They gave me a Go Pack Go, and I didn't respond back.
Oh!
No, I did say, I asked if they were Packer fans. They said, yeah. I said, you going to the game? And they said, no, we're going there. Well, we might, but we're definitely going to be tailgating. And I thought, well, that's pretty cool. They're making a trip to Arizona to tailgate before the game. but going to go with a couple of my cousins and my brother flying in, so it should be a good time. Hope to cheer them on for a victory. One comment I had was about injuries not being really black and white, right? Are they ready to come back, not ready to come back? And sometimes someone will sit out and say, well, if it was a playoff game, I would have played through it or something. It doesn't seem like often we have someone who's maybe kind of on the cusp, just kind of sit in the bench, and if needed, we'll bring them in. And I thought that last year with the Minnesota game when Jordan was coming back, is thinking, well, why don't we just have our backup quarterback, I'm drawing a blank, start the game, and if it turns into crap, then Jordan, we're gonna, maybe we'll throw you in to if need be, in case of emergency, break glass kind of thing. And it just doesn't seem like I see that, so I'm sure there's a reason for that, but it does seem like if you're kind of a little bit iffy, that maybe you start the backup guy, and if you have to go in to salvage the game, you go in. And I'm thinking about that with like Zach Tom this week, or maybe even Christian Watson is, hey, we'll suit you up, but we're only going to put you in if we think we need you. But I don't know, maybe that doesn't make sense. But it just feels like if they say, hey, I would have played through it if it was a playoff game, that there's just times where it's still kind of a gray area. Anyway, go Pack Go, and hope to talk to you after a victory Sunday. Take care. Thanks for everything you do. Bye.
Yeah, I think the closest thing we come to that is when somebody's on a pitch count. They'll come back and they'll play 10 snaps or something like that. I suppose the rationale is, if you can play, you're going to play. If you can't, then we're not going to activate you. We'd rather have somebody else that can play, But I get what you mean, especially when you look at some of the stuff we've seen with guys coming back and ended up getting hurt. I mean, it could be trickier with somebody like Zach Tom at right tackle to have him in as a backup, because you're not rotating him or anything. But, you could have, I guess, Zach Tom kind of sitting on the side and, Belton is there or whoever. And if things are going straight to hell, or if he ends up getting hurt, then it's all right, you ready to go. I mean, we talked about this, you'd play if needed, and guess what? You're needed. It is true. I don't know. I guess that's just not the way, it's not the way it's done, man.
Hey, Ryan, Dennis from California. I hope this makes it on to Saturday or Sunday, Packernet After Dark, but if it doesn't.
Just a thought here, because I know I'm slow with the calls. You don't have to say, I hope it makes it or whatever. Because if it doesn't, then it doesn't. And if it does, then we didn't need to hear the intro about, I hope it makes it. You know what I mean? Like, you can just do your thing and we'll see how it goes.
All right. But you have the whole Christian Watson's dad controversy about the scheme can't produce wide receiver one, blah, blah, blah. I played a lot of fantasy football between 2008 probably all the way till current, but what the one
I was 2009, so we were about the same, although I don't play it much anymore.
thing they always said when Shanahan or his disciples between that time frame, basically till McVay, I guess, or I don't know, right? But they always said when Shanahan got hired somewhere, him or his dad, that, this scheme produces wide receiver ones. So you're going to want to grab a couple of receivers from this scheme because it's going to, obviously, usually there's like a guy like Julio or a guy like Pierre Graffon. We know that these guys are going to be the number one, but the whole thing is it's going to produce a wide receiver one. That's the scheme.
So weird, isn't it? The same scheme that apparently prevents wide receiver ones produces wide receiver ones. It's so weird.
Scheme does that. And it's just his scheme is more similar to Shanahan because that's the basis of a lot of it, I would think, right? He has his own flavor and all that, and we've seen him with Devontae produce wide receiver one. I think he had a season with 115 catches, so it's not like it's not in the book. Yes, that was Aaron Rodgers, but you gotta think about history and stuff. It's not like it's not capable. I just don't think any of these receivers have really commanded all the targets. Like, I don't know about Golden. Obviously, Golden's a rookie, so they're not going to prioritize him, but come on. It's not. Show me the data. I agree with you. Show me the data. These guys just say stuff. And I come on here every time, and I always do my caveat. I'm just saying stuff. But that was always the thing, and in fantasy football, it always rang true. Get him, and the guy's going to produce as a high-end wide receiver one. Garcon had a couple seasons where he was a pretty high-performing wide receiver one for the Redskins, and then Julio, look at Julio, Josh Gordon, like look at all these guys against them. Yeah, Andre Johnson with Kubiak and Shanahan, all those guys. It's like, come on. But go back, go.
It is funny how people have theories, present nothing. Every data point in existence is against what they're saying, and all they do is create excuses for why that is. Why do you think we can't produce a wide receiver one? We did it here. He did it there. This person did it here. And then it's Rodgers. Well, this, well, that, well. It's just excuses to explain away all the data you have that's contrary while producing nothing. Well, where's the wide receiver one the last couple of years? Bro, look at the wide receivers. You tell me who we can't even as a fan base articulate who we think the wide receiver one would be, like as a unified voice. So why in the world do you think that we should have one when we don't even know who that one person would be because we don't have a wide receiver one? And again, the whole thing with Watson's dad, the whole reason this is his crusade is because he doesn't like the narrative that we don't have a wide receiver one on this team for very obvious reasons. Not only is his son on the team, but he's the one that came out and said we have 3 wide receiver ones on the team. So, I mean, he doesn't want to be wrong about that. So he has to say, well, it's LaFleur holding this team back, which is such a common phrase. He's holding the team back. He's holding the receivers back. He's holding Love back. One of the most, I think I just saw today, the most explosive team in football, but LaFleur is holding it back. Well, he's not holding back. Well, that's Love doing things against LaFleur. And when Rodgers was successful, it's because he was doing things against LaFleur. LaFleur is just standing as an obstacle. He does nothing but stand in everybody's way. And these people just keep trying to get around him all the time to just be free, man. They just want to be free. Like, do you have any evidence of this? God, come on, man. It's just, can't you feel it in your bones? They want to be free of this man. What are you talking about? Ugh. Anyways, I'm going to get out of here. You all have a good rest of your day. I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye-bye.